Now, if you're a parent who goes out to work, whose children are small, you don't need me to tell you that finding reliable, affordable childcare is an absolute nightmare. Well, a think tank called the New Economics Foundation has been experimenting with an idea known as community-based nurseries. They're run by professionals, but parents who give their time to the project get a discount on the fees. Siobhan Ty has been to a couple of them. One was set up in the 70s by parents themselves, but the first one you'll hear is in Hackney in London, and it gives a discount to volunteers.
So 10 minutes guys, 10 minutes kids, and then we're going to start tidying up, okay? So you've got 10 minutes.
10 minutes and then we're going to...
I'm Luciana and I'm the manager at Grasshoppers in the Park. I'm also a teacher, early years teacher, so I'm on the floor.
And we're literally on the floor now.
That's right, yes, it's the best place, really, especially when you work with children.
So explain to me how it works financially. First of all, how much is it to send your child here? And if you work here for a day, how much of a discount do you get?
The fees vary according to parents' income. So we got three income bands, and parents who do a parent day a nursery, which means a parent day means from 9:30 to 3:30, get £120 discount a month.
But it must mean that if you're a working parent, that you have the type of job that allows you to take that day off.
Yes, most parents who come here have a flexible job. We have a lot of artists, but we also have some parents who work full-time and they do what they can maybe from home. We don't have a washing machine in here, so doing the laundry is a great help.
DIY?
DIY is great, maintenance, and because we go to the park every day, coming with us, which increases the ratio, is very important as well.
Your nursery is on a housing estate in East London, but yet it comes across as quite middle class, liberal, artistic.
Yes, we are aware of this, but we have to consider that a lot of applications come because of word of mouth. So obviously, this is why we are the way we are.
So it's friends recommending it to friends
Right,
who are the
yes,
same as
yes,
them.
That's right. But I'm hoping that I will receive application forms from different types of people. But so far, the makeup of the nursery doesn't reflect Hackney very much. And this is something that we are working on and that I really want to change.
Well, I've just taken a bus to another part of London. It's really cold today, but I've come to a nursery called Rainbow Nursery, and I'm looking forward to getting into the warmth of the office. That's the secure gate I'm having to go through.
My name is Deirdre Scanterbury. I'm the nursery coordinator here.
You're going to show me a register from when you started.
Yes.
So what year was this?
Well, I started in 1973, and this is our first register of Rainbow, and the fees back then were £3.50.
£3.50 a week.
Yeah.
So this was when your mum and dad set up the
Yes,
nursery?
They set it up in 1973. They were looking for affordable childcare, affordable quality childcare, I should say, that's somewhere they can leave me as a child and go to work feeling comfortable and safe, that I'm in a secure, safe environment. And they looked for many different places, but they weren't happy with and they couldn't afford it really. So they approached a lady who was setting up a nursery, and they would just love the whole idea and the ethos around it, where it was about volunteering your time, coming along, bringing carpet, bringing paint and different things to set it up. And they were actively involved from the 70s up until the present day, really.
And was it for black families?
It was. Initially it was for black families, finding affordable childcare, but then as we've grown and developed, it's now become very diverse.
Would you class your nursery as a community nursery?
It's a community nursery in so many different levels. One of the reasons why I think it's a community nursery is that we are run by a parent group, a management committee, so we kind of make it affordable for all. Although within the banding system, we've got band 1, band 2 and band 3. Even some parents are unable to pay band 1.
Do you think it's a good idea to get parents involved using that incentive that they can get a discount if they do some DIY, if they do some laundry?
Yes and no. At Rainbow, the parents volunteer without having you get a discount. They just come. It's like, as a nursery being sustainable and keeping the fees at an affordable rate, but also being able to survive as a business as well, because yes, we are a registered charity, and yes, that we want to support the families, but we have to be realistic. We have to remain open, isn't it?
Deirdre Scantlebury from Rainbow Nursery, ending that report by Siobhan Tighe. So could this be the solution to the crippling cost of childcare? Well, Megan Jarvie is Head of Policy at the Family and Childcare Trust. Lucy Stevens is Head of Co-Production at the New Economics Trust. Lucy, how difficult is it to make your model work financially?
It's not totally straightforward, we can appreciate that, but what we know is there's a tradition of working in this way, and that tradition is under pressure actually. In the last 5 to 10 years, the number of community-based not-for-profit nurseries has been in decline, and yet parents are telling us time and again they want to be able to take more control, be more engaged in their children's early years. We know it does work, and it is possible because there are models like this in the UK already operating and managing to negotiate with Ofsted and with the various funding streams that are available. But it's not a widespread choice for parents, and it is at the moment more concentrated in affluent areas. So our work going forward is understanding what works at the moment, but also questioning why this is more prevalent, perhaps in more affluent areas, and how to make this more accessible to all families.
Megan, how important is it to explore different models like this, when I suppose what we tend to see is the one model, the creche, the nursery, run by professionals, and that's it?
It's really, really important. We know that choosing childcare for parents is a really personal choice, and there's different things that work for all different types of families. And so we really support having a diverse market, and that this is an important part of that market. And what we're doing is looking at different models around parent-led childcare that work. And so we also need to look at all the different types of ways that you can involve parents and get it right for that model as well.
What, Lucy, would you say are the benefits for the children of this kind of care?
So when you're working with your parents in the nursery, I was actually living in Canada for a few years, and whilst I was there, I was part of a parent-led nursery like this. And the day-to-day for my daughter, what she really enjoyed was that I was around and I understood who her friends were in the nursery and what her days looked like. But also the benefits for her were the fact that I, as an everyday parent, was working alongside childcare professionals and learning from them, not being taught in a very traditional and overwhelming way, but actually learning from them by being alongside them. So it helped me to understand the different stages and phases of her development.
But how easy is it for the professionals to work with and possibly, and I use the word manage, the parents? Because parents will inevitably have their own child's interests at heart.
Absolutely, but what we see with the models that are working at the moment is this is a cooperative approach, and actually in these models the staff who are working there tend to be staying put for much longer than is traditional in the sector. Most have higher qualifications because their career progression is being invested in, and parents feel they understand more the value of the professionals who are working in that childcare setting, and they tend to be paid higher, much higher than average in the sector. So there's a real benefit for professionals being part of this model too. They're respected.
What sort of safeguarding issues, though, Megan, need to be considered when a lot of parents are going to be in and out?
So in the UK, we have quite a strong regulatory and quality framework that all childcare provision needs to stick to. So this type of provision will also stick to those requirements. And so keeping kids safe is at the heart of what we're looking to do. The benefit of having those parents involved is worth the extra effort that needs to go in to make sure that all the requirements are kept to.
So the parents will have to have checks?
They will,
just
absolutely.
As professionals
absolutely,
would.
Absolutely. And the professionals will be there looking after the children's learning and supporting parents to also help with children's learning.
How, Lucy, do you make sure that all parents are catered for, not just the middle class professionals who may have flexible work patterns and be able to pop in and out, whereas somebody who's on a strict shift pattern probably won't be able to?
Well, it absolutely is the challenge, and that's the reason that we're so interested in this piece of work and working with families. But we've been talking to low-income families about this idea, and many of them are saying they would be very, very willing to be part of something like this, not primarily for the affordability, although they see that as an added benefit, but actually actually for the wider opportunity to be involved in their children's care, and also for the wider network that it builds for them of other families who are working together. So whilst there's the benefit within the childcare setting, actually it's a family of families working together. So all of those spillovers of knowing more people in your neighbourhood, helping out informally outside of childcare is also really important. And
now, the examples we had were London based. What's happening in other parts of the country?
Again, it's quite hard to know. I mean, partly I'm hoping that there are people listening today shouting at the radio saying this is what we're doing and we've been doing it for years, because most of these organisations are community based and quite small scale. They're parents helping parents, and as Luciana was saying in the clip, they are finding out about this through word of mouth. So there's no kind of network supporting this way of doing childcare. So we're finding it quite hard to find more examples.
Well, if you're doing it, please let us know about it. You can send us an email, or of course you can tweet about it. And finally, Megan, I mean, there are lots of ways of looking at this. What more needs to be done as far as commercial providers and government provision are concerned?
So we know that there are lots of issues with the childcare market, and it's not working for all parents. That a lot of parents struggle to find childcare that meets their needs, particularly those with disabled children who are working atypical hours. This is part of the puzzle. What we need is a real concerted effort to look at what's going to work to make sure that